the third test. Okay, I'm gonna open test now, and then like it will be open till, let's say, 40 minutes before 12. Yeah, so the third test is open now. You can start.
You mean till 20 minutes to 12, right?
Yeah, 20 minutes, like 11:40.
Okay.
Yeah, for those who are a bit late. Yeah, but it's only for 8 minutes, so it's kind of short. For you to start for different time, that's all.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So in the first problem, do we consider that training courses mean that he is not able to work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just check. Okay. About the first questions. Yeah. Small comments for you. first it's like you need to basically compare what the cost of the course and the salary for each year, and minus what? Minus basically cost for the books and etc.
So we need to compare two variants if he's working and if he's studying and then working, right?
First, you need to compare what? You need to compare salary before and after courses. Yes, and you need to subtract, like, consider the cost of the books. And then when basically Vadim do not work, it's like 1 year retraining course, it means that Vadim cannot work. You need to consider this too. Small hint for you. Like no working, then to salary, then cost of the courses.
Подскажите, пожалуйста, как в 7-м менять местами эти определения? Они не перетаскиваются.
Смотрите, нажимаете на него и перетаскивать как бы... как-то... Вот у вас есть the backer view, и как бы что это означает? Вот
Да.
что это означает, вы перетаскиваете на view.
Ну, вообще он убегает обратно, сейчас попробую.
А вы не рядышком ставьте, а вы прям на само это.
Окей.
Когда оно закрепилось, оно не дает исправить.
Оно не убегает. Все, получилось, спасибо.
Отлично.
А вопрос, вы не можете немножко продлить время?
Тест уже началось. У вас что-то, какие-то технические проблемы?
Да, у меня технические проблемы с этим бейкером и так далее, потому что он не дает просто убрать случайно закрепившуюся, пока я разбиралась, как закреплять эти ответы.
Слушайте, а он может не дать убрать, извините, потому что как бы это только если заново тест. Но вы можете... Слушайте, тут уже никак. Ну, давайте я продлю на минуточку тест, тогда окей. Сейчас тогда изменю. Но я не уверена, что те, кто в тесте, у вас изменит время теста. Давайте я попробую, чтобы сейчас на минуту... Давайте я как бы минуту дополнительную из-за этого перетаскивания вам дам. Но я не уверена, что оно вам как бы изменится, те, кто уже в тесте.
А на что оно там должно перетаскиваться? У меня просто текст выделяется.
Вы должны зажать кнопкой и как бы перетащить длинный текст на всякий view, там the backer view и так далее, Spencer view. То есть зажимаете вот эту штучку и как бы перетаскиваете.
Все, понял, да.
Нет, в общем, он не дал.
Ну, да, окей, давайте я буду учитывать это в дальнейших тестах, может быть, без перетаскивания сделаю.
Извините, вы не могли бы посмотреть, у вас есть мой тест, а то у меня написано время истекло, там вот это вот все.
Так, 1 минуту. Сейчас открою. Мгм. Да, есть.
Спасибо большое.
И зданий там никак нельзя было перетаскивать вот эти варианты ответа.
Почему вы нажимаете, и они перетаскиваются?
Ну нет, там так нельзя было вроде бы. Ну,
Я
нет, там не нажималось.
Слушайте, надо как бы было нажать и перетащить их на вот эти view, у других ребят получилось.
Да. Ну, в общем, возникли какие-то сложности с этим заданием, с перетаскиванием.
Давайте тогда в следующих 2 тестах я не буду вообще...
А может быть, а вы не хотите этот вопрос включить просто в следующий тест, а сейчас не учитывать? Просто знания есть, а ответа нет. Ну, как бы такое предложение.
Слушайте, ну, надо хорошо, я посмотрю, потому что иначе мне тогда придется все пересчитывать вручную тесты. Ладно, давайте я посмотрю, да, спасибо за предложение. Вопросов с перетаскиванием больше не будет, а про остальное я тогда посмотрю. Окей?
Угу. Может быть, в ЛМС просто можно, не знаю, циферками расставлять. Там выбирать номер цифры, и будет проще, чем перетаскивать.
Я тогда просто не буду вообще вставлять лучший вопрос с перетаскиванием, если такие технические трудности у них возникают. Ну, потому что я проверяла все на компьютере, у меня все нормально перетаскивалось, но как бы, видимо... Что, извините?
Телефоны перетаскивать нельзя, я так понял.
Телефоны не перетаскиваются, понятно. Окей, хорошо, давайте я посмотрю, если как бы у многих возникли, то я, может быть, в результатах теста учту, сейчас я запишу себе тогда, вопрос с перетаскиванием, например, не будет учитываться. Ну, в смысле, если кто все правильно сделал, у вас так все правильно, те, кто не сделал этот вопрос перетаскивания, мы как бы его уберем, например. Тогда у вас будут результаты тестов, то, что вам ЛМС показал, они будут немного выше, чем по сравнению с тем, что показывает ЛМС. Ну, за счет вот этого. Okay, I think like then let's start because we do not have so much time. Okay, Vera, could you? I wrote you an answer in elements.
I got.
Okay, then basically, yeah, Elizaveta, okay. Yeah, because like technical problems, let's say that we do not consider the test with these different views, and there are 2 more tests, and I will not include these questions. Yeah, with this changing the view, I mean, spiritasking, yeah. Actually, I really don't know how to. Okay. To the next test. I don't know why, but I cannot. Okay, just wait a bit. Yeah, we continue with the human capital, basically. And then our next lecture, Yeah, Dmitry wrote something at just a moment. Yeah, no, like, okay, let's do it in that way. Yeah, I get your point, Dmitry. Now I'm going to create the voting system. Yeah, and then like in Google form, and then we decided like democratical way, yeah, what to do with this. If some of you, okay, do we have people who use mobile phone to basically hear the lectures and to do the test? Okay, let's say okay, then let's do it in that way. Let's check how many people, but be honest, please. How many people have the problem with this test? And then we decided, yeah, maybe it's like, let's do it. If it's more than half, then Dmitry, like in democratic way, we do not consider this basically questions, yeah, with this view. If we have less than half people who have problem with these questions, like in democratic way, we do not consider this. Just a moment, I create voting stuff. Yeah, like something. I'm sorry, thanks with my basically internet. Just do it in this way. Yeah, now it's better. Okay, just a moment. Again, yeah, now I'm in chat, you can see the link to the voting, and let's decide that if more than half people have the problem with these questions, then Dmitry, like, yeah, kind of fairness, majority voting, then these questions will not be considered in the test. Yeah, Полина, добрый день. Okay, if less than half people. Yeah, I know, Polina. Now we decided what to do with these questions. Yeah, could you vote using this form? And then we decided basically what to do. Okay, basically we have more people than voting people. Okay, please, now I have only 30 answers. Please, could everybody basically vote too? I need 20 more answers, basically. Okay, now, like while voting, I'm going to open slides. Yeah, Vera and others, I feel your pain, but let's do it in like kind of democratic way, because if it's only 1 and 2 people, Dmitry basically, I do not think about point. Yeah, Dmitry basically raise the point of fairness. Let's do it in this way. And let's say that there will be no such type of questions in the next test. Okay, let's check what happened. Basically, unfortunately, for those who have technical problems, only 25% of you have these problems. That means that we consider this question, yeah, but in the next tests. But basically, if all questions right and only these questions was wrong, it's you still get like, I think, 94 points. It's still the excellent grade. So, okay, according to the voting, only 25% of people have some problems with this question. Then it means like democratic voting. Yeah, it means that we basically do consider this test, consider the answer on this question, but in the next test there will be no such types of questions. Okay, do you believe me, or should I show you the results of the test? Maybe now it's changed a bit. Like now it's 27.5%. Yeah, people with a problem, and 72.5% people without problem. Should I show you the results of the test, or do you believe me? Okay, then I hope you believe me. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to. Okay, any other questions? Do you understand? Yeah, we vote and the decision is final. Yeah, according to the opinion of people who do not have problem with this. Yeah, I consider this. Okay, no questions then. Could you see my presentation?
Yes, we can. But it's like kind of small.
Yeah, I'm going to be more open. Is it better now?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Okay. Basically, okay. Any questions about test? I hope it's not so difficult. Yeah, I do not want to give you so difficult tests. Yeah, maybe like considering that, but because like in the last year there was no problem with such types of questions. I don't know why you have the problem now. Okay, so basically we stop with the human capital. Yeah, and now we continue with this. And first of all, we get more complicated pictures, yeah, of this. Basically, yeah, Elena, but basically, Elena, I get you. But it was the same that you have for the previous test. You have, I think, like 10 questions in 10 minutes. Yeah, but maybe, okay, thank you for the comment. Maybe it will be like 1 or 2 minutes for the next test, like. Usually, the minutes for the test is meaning the number of questions. Like 8 questions, 8 minutes. But let's see, give you like 1 minute to be more oriented. So if the net test will be, for instance, 10 questions, then you get 11 minutes and etc. Okay. Yeah, I get you. Okay. Let's continue basically. Yeah, okay, let's continue. But don't worry, you will have 2 more tests, and if as it will be like no such type of questions, and will be more time, then I consider this. Okay, what we talk about? We talk about human capital, we talk about discount rate, and we talk about basically the decision to get education or not to get education. But now, of course, we may have more complex pictures. Basically, different people, yeah, may have different abilities. Yeah, and abilities, it can be set of cognitive or non-cognitive skills that somehow correlated with their ability to study, for instance, ability to pass the exam, test, and etc., etc. And this ability of preferences of people, of course, can influence on the decision whether to go or not to go to university, or to what university to go, or decision about majors, for instance. Yeah, and basically for those of you, okay, small announcement. You know that you have links in order to choose the topics for your final project. Please do it, because I checked it yesterday and it was only, I think, half of the people who are assigned to the course chose the topics. Please do it. Yeah, because you have like, I think, 3 weeks to do the final project, but please choose the topic of the final project. If you do not like it, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting you. I thought you've just finished. May I ask the question then?
Yeah, of course.
Evgeny Yurin, while we're on this topic, may I ask you, when will you send the instructions regarding the?
Basically, the basic structure of the project you can find in the first slide's introduction. You can understand what the main elements your project should contain. Yeah, then like I try to do today or day after, like tomorrow. I try to give you more detailed instruction according to the structure of the project. But again, please open the slide called introduction. It's uploaded in LMS. It will be the same structure. I just give you how you can develop different elements of the structure. Okay, do you have a chance to see the structure of this final project in the first lecture slides?
Yeah. I mean, it is easier when we have the concrete criteria regarding this. That's why I've asked you about the.
Yeah. Okay. As I told you, I try to do it to the end of November, basically today or tomorrow, and it won't be like, it won't be real like step-by-step stuff. It will be just more detailed explanation, what you can basically develop on the specific elements of your project, and basically with some examples of how you can present the results of the articles of this project, for instance. Okay, okay, if you do not like any topic, from the list, you can take whatever you want, but dealing, of course, with labor economics. But if you want to choose a topic by yourself, please write me a letter and say, I want to choose that on that topic, like our group want to choose that on or that topic. And then after this, you can basically do the final project, basically based on your topics. Do you understand the idea? Okay. Let's spend some time on this. Any other questions about final project instead of detailed description? Okay, have you seen the links for this final project?
Yeah.
Good. Please choose the topic. If you do not like do it in group way, of course you can do it by yourself. The group can be with 1 people, it's okay. But no more, up to 5 people in the group. Okay, if you have any questions, please write in chat, and then I react to it. Okay, continue. Difference in abilities. But if we speak about difference in abilities, then we can speak that the decision about to go or not to go to university, or decision about education, now depends not only the wage, that people can get after the university, but also depends on the different so-called abilities, and then different workers face a different wage schooling locus. So, and in this case, we suppose, it's kind of logical that more able person get relatively more from an extra year of schooling, and more able person have high incentives to go to university or to go to better university. Really simple concept. What is the source of these abilities? Based on different empirical studies. First, initially, workers can have different amounts of skills of human capital. Then is different in different schooling. It means that, like, if we speak about different schoolings, it means that it can be different schooling investments, and different basically return to education. Then, of course, university can be different in terms of quality. Or for instance, we may say so-called non-schooling investments. For instance, you can get some additional courses, you get some additional training, you get some additional internship while basically studying university, and etc. Then if we speak about labor market, it's training. After university, you may again, get additional training, voluntary by yourself, you may decide to get some new skills, and etc. And also so-called pre-labor market influences. Basically, empirical studies show that so-called P group effects may also affect their human capital. What does it mean? First of all, it's dealing with the social connections, and also it's dealing with the social environment in your specific university. If you study in so motivated and high intelligent social environment, like peer effect, so your colleague from your group is highly motivated, they speak about different opportunities in labor market, they circulate the information about different internship, and etc. That may have influence on your decision to get or not to get more human capital, to get or not to get some internship. And then this is kind of, indirect peer effect, that can influence on your position on the labor market. Okay, but what is the problem? If we speak about empirical labor studies, usually we have a problem about ability bias. And if you basically read the news about Nobel Prize in this year, 2 labor economists get this, and one of their studies is basically was dealing with this ability bias when we try to estimate the effect of education on our wages, for instance. And they propose one way to do this. It's using some method for quasi-experiment. Maybe some of you read about this. Okay. Do some of you read about this Nobel Prize for Economics in this year, and maybe you read some articles about what these people actually do and what method they propose to use in economics? Do you pay attention to such type of news? No? Diana say no. Any other opinion from Diana?
We have teacher of econometrics. It's Polina, and she told us some information about Nobel Prizes in last years, but not this year, so I think we don't know.
Yeah, okay, but okay, if you're interested, it's like for labor economics studies. And one of the interesting contribution of them is like they propose to use specific methods called difference in difference methods to estimate the results of quasi-experiment in labor economics studies. And usually this difference in difference methods are used in the like medicine trials. Yeah, it's like from medicine, from nature science, and etc. Like from really lab experiments. Yeah, but they say that we can use these methods in order to estimate the social experiments. And these methods can be used when we try to estimate the effect of different reforms, when we try to estimate the effect of different training or retraining courses, and etc. It's called like difference in difference. It's not so difficult, yeah. And there are some assumptions for this method. So if you're interested, you can read about this. Okay. What is ability bias? It's kind of simple concept, yeah. First, we suppose that people who are like more smarter, yeah, like more intelligent, so with more ability to study, may study harder, yeah, and may have more schooling, yeah, and because of that, yeah, because of cognitive or non-cognitive skills, people can be more productive. Dmitry, basically, it was used, yeah, but it was not so popular. It's not like they show how these methods can be really used in labor economics. Some people, before these people, of course, yeah, of course, use this method, but they basically made this method kind of popular in empirical economics. Yeah, because they basically start it more widely. So it's kind of, popularization of specific methods, a specific way to see the social reality. Yes, first it was like, yeah, Dmitry, you're right. Yeah, as I said, these methods have some really strict assumptions that sometimes cannot be when we speak about social reality, yeah, and we speak about society and labor market, basically in particular, because it's not lab experiments. But you see, about behavioral economics, yeah, for instance. And of course, people who decided to do research or to conduct research, yeah, in behavioral economics, they usually sometimes, yeah, use lab experiments. And for them, this method is kind of useful, for instance. Yeah, because it's like real lab experiments dealing with the different cognitive incentives of people. Okay. So what we say, people may have different abilities. Yeah, people basically may have different cognitive and cognitive skills that cannot be basically estimated when we think about normal longitudinal data sets. Because it's really hard to estimate intelligence. You may say it's IQ test, but IQ test has really huge number of shortage. Yeah, it's not the good way to measure intelligence, for instance.
In that case, we can try to use the methods of instrumental variables and use some IV, like the distance to the nearest university or the education of the parents. So, as we were taught during our econometrics classes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But what is the problem with the instrumental variables? Yeah, if we talk about methods. When we go into use these instrumental variables, yeah, you need to have in data some informations about, for instance, distance to the nearest university, yeah, or about information father and mother education. But if we speak about abilities, and if we say that abilities cannot be really estimated, then can you use these IV methods if you do not have data on these hidden abilities of people?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't. Okay. Then, if you're interested, there can be, if we have panel data, yeah, we can use fixed or random effects because this method basically allows you to estimate some unobserved heterogeneity between people that constant over time. And if we suppose that ability of people, for instance, some cognitive skills, do not really change over time, then we can partly solve this problem when we're using these panel techniques. So again, panel techniques is basically a way to deal with unobserved heterogeneity between individuals if we suppose that this unobserved heterogeneity constants over time. So it should be constant over time. Only this part of heterogeneity can be basically like considered, yeah, when we run this panel regression. And as yeah, sorry.
Excuse me. So we were told about this idea in some pretty simple example during our last seminar of econometrics. But the main question is: are those parameters constant over time? So it's a very strong assumption. I don't think that in many cases it holds.
Yeah, but look, as I said, yeah, it can be less biased result, yeah, but only in case of this constant order. But for instance, there are some empirical research that shows that some attitudes of people kind of constant over time. First of all, it's risk aversion. Yeah, there are studies that show that risk aversion really constant over time. If you are risk averse, you still risk averse. Does not matter about your sectoral, labor market position, etc., etc. Then, really, I'm not sure about intelligence because it's really hard to measure it. But for instance, it's not about like abilities, yeah, but if we speak about hidden characteristics of people, that this ability bias, it's basically the question is about hidden characteristic of people that we cannot consider, but yeah, but basically it somehow influence on the wages. Yeah, one question is about education, but of course, as you said, yeah, Nikolai, it can be different abilities or different characteristics. There are many papers that shows you that physical appearance or beauty have positive influence on the wages. And like this beauty, yeah, like physical appearance, and of course you need to understand this as beauty standards depends on the society, yeah, and depends on social groups and etc., etc. And it shows that this like beauty, yeah, so-called, can have influence on the wages, but not for everybody. What do you think? For what groups it has more influence? If we speak about, for instance, abilities or qualification?
Maybe less qualified.
Yeah, you're right. Why do you think so?
Because in the case of highly qualified workers, the worker has something to to propose other than the appearance while the low qualified worker may not have some useful knowledges or skills, hard or soft, and the only thing he or she can, I know, provide is a good appearance. So
Yeah, basically, yeah, the logic is yeah, in the right direction. But the idea is what? That low qualified people usually work in the position that supposed really high level of interaction with other people. For instance, think about like administrators, yeah, in different, or think about administrative jobs. Yeah, you go to some firm, you see, and for this, yeah, I mean, it's discrimination, definitely. Yeah, but maybe in Russian, unfortunately, we have this. Maybe you see the job advertisement that says like nice looking appearance and etc. etc. But I mean, it's discrimination. Yeah, your job advertisement cannot have any characteristics of physical appearance of people. But employers, yeah, sometimes want to more so-called more nice-looking people when we speak about not so qualified job that dealing with the people. And basically, this article shows the same, yeah, that the low qualified people, the share of this type of jobs is higher. And because of that, yeah, it can be more pronounced relationship between this physical appearance and the wages for this type of jobs. Yeah, because basically these people get more chances to get these jobs. Yeah, it's not a good situation, but like just what empirical study shows us. Okay, so we have this ability bias. And because of that, it's really hard to estimate the real rate of return to schooling. And basically, as a classical way to do this, it's so-called Mincer equation. Oh, yeah, basically Mincer equation, yeah, usually it's like education plus other variables. Yeah, so it's the basic set of these variables, it's education and experience in the labor market, or if we do not have information about experience in the labor market, then we can include age. Yeah, because your experience in the labor market somehow correlate with your age. And also usually people use also gender or sex of the people, male, female, because it's well established that we have a wage gap in the labor market. So problem, as we discuss, yeah, and observe heterogeneity. Most of the solution do not stick with the simple linear regression, but yeah, but instead of this, use instrumental variable, as Nikolai basically said, yeah, or panel data techniques. But the most recent studies of twins, yeah, you know that in economics, but I mean, maybe not in the other spheres of economics, but in labor economics, there are really popular studies of twins. And because of that, we can say that twins probably may have somehow, yeah, similar hidden characteristics, yeah, and we just compare these twins, yeah, and see what happened with them. Yeah.
Is that approach correct? So twins may look the same, but their interests, so their baggage of knowledges, of skills, of preferences are usually pretty different, because they are trying to differentiate themselves, because otherwise their surrounding won't understand who is who. So it's just the logical solution if if I can't make myself look another way as my twin brother, I will try to do something else, something completely different than my twin brother. No?
Yeah, as you said, yeah, but now we said about so-called abilities, yeah, and these people, based on the assumption that the abilities, for instance, intelligence, yeah, it's rather similar for the twins because of similar genetics. Like if this is, I mean, if they're twins, yeah, kind of the same, like, I mean, yeah, it's a problem, yeah, but it's stated on the biological assumption about the bunch of the genes, yeah, that this twins get, and based on this, they suppose that they may have, they may have different preference, yeah, but they have approximately the same level of abilities like intelligence and etc. etc. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, so it's just an assumption that they made in these studies. Okay, yeah, but okay, look, why this assumption can help? Because they said, for instance, as you said, yeah, different twins may have different preferences, and if we suppose that their abilities is approximately the same, then we can really estimate the return, for instance, to education. If one of twin decided to go, I don't know, in economics, other decided to go in design, yeah, and compare these two people with approximately different abilities, we may say what's the less biased, yeah, return to the major in economics in the labor market, and what return to the major in design, yeah, in the labor market. Here's the idea. Yeah, basically,
okay, I got it.
Yeah, for the research aims, it's good that if twins decided to go to different ways. Because of this, we may compare the effect, not like hidden abilities, yeah, but they compare effect about the chosen path or path of the career or major, and etc. etc. Yeah, but basically the studies show that returns to this education are not too different from the conventional estimated. It means for the people who are not twins, yeah. So then people suggest that ability bias may not be really large when we consider the estimate to education. So it means that if we estimated with more advanced econometrics methods return to education, then of course it can be biased because of this and observed heterogeneity. But as basically study shows, it's not very large. Yeah, somehow. Yeah, so this is just a picture for Russia. Yeah, just comparison of the different return to education. And what we see that in the beginning of 90s, yeah, the return to each year of schooling was lower compared to the 2000s. And now you tell me why it can happen, why we have this picture in the Russian labor market in the beginning of 90s compared to the thousands.
Because in the 90s, it's just my guess, the educational system was pretty much collapsed. So the value of skills and the value of knowledges it was given to the students was lower than now. So their return was lower too.
Yeah, basically, it means, okay, yeah, as you said, basically, like people get the education in Soviet Union, yes? And then they try to use this education in the new capitalist labor market. It means that it's really hard to use your human capital, that you occur during the Soviet time, under the specific educational system, to the new, basically, reality. And because of this, basically, we have studies that shows you that nowadays, people who are over 50, in average, may have problem to find a new job, not only because of this discrimination of more elderly people, but because of their specific human capital that some of them get from the Soviet Union. And if these people do not have retraining courses, or some additional education, then for them it's really hard to use this human capital in the labor market. And the problem is that human capital is not the constant term. You need always to get new skills, and new batch of competences, because labor market is not stable at all. Now we have technological erosion, etc., and in order to adapt to this labor market, you need always get additional education. Then compare Russia to other countries. What you can see, like Britain, for instance, United States, Denmark, France, and etc. You see, for instance, the return to education in, I don't know, Britain, United States, Denmark, France. I mean, in larger part of Europe and American and in other countries, for instance, Japan, is higher compared to Russia. Why do you think so? Why do we have this situation? Why return to education to Russia is relatively lower compared to other countries?
So the first idea is that the educational systems are doing better than ours, but it confuses me that Japan on that graph has not so good stats. So maybe maybe my logic is only partly correct, and there are some other factors.
For instance, Dmitry wrote that it can be structure of economy. As we discussed, Japan basically is one of the examples of the countries that have really low level of unemployment. But it means that each additional year of schooling. So we do not speak about like level of education, but we speak about return to each additional year of education. In this case, Ekaterina, we are really not consider the high or not high education. It can be unqualified workers, but think about that way. You may, for instance, compare the number of, what do you think? Compare the number of universities in Russia. Dmitry, you're right. Long-term contract. It's like maybe low return to schooling, but high stabilities. And also in Japan, it's usually so-called more detailed jobs. It means that if in Russia one people do this set of skills, in Japan it can be like 3 people who do the same set of skills. So like everybody can have a job, but it's like dealing with unemployment level, but then it say that people cannot really climb on this career ladder so fast, like compare with the other countries. Think about the number of university, for instance, I don't know, in Britain compared to Russia. And the quality of these universities, for instance, if we think about higher education.
As I'm aware, they have less universities.
Yeah, they have less universities. And what about quality, for instance?
Nah, it should be better.
I mean, in average, yeah. Yeah, Dmitry, you want to say something?
I guess, first of all, it all comes not to the quality of education, but to the structure of economy. I stand for this argument. Well, if we look at Russian structure of labor market, we will see that in the beginning of 90s, a lot of industries basically collapsed, and a labor market was overly saturated with people with competencies. So additional year of schooling at this point, where there is lots of specialists, is not as much important as it becomes today, as basically a structure of our industries deformed to the new way society lives and functions. I have already thought about what happens in Japan, and considering other countries, we can see a trend that countries with more technological sectors tend to have more impact of every additional year of schooling. Поэтому, да, структура экономики.
Yeah, I get it. But what is interesting, basically, now modern economies, like, okay, what is the largest, or what sector is the highest in all modern economies? Even in Russia, in Britain, United States, what sectors, basically? The largest. Yeah, services, basically. Yeah, in Russia, it's the same. Okay. Yeah, Dmitry, of course you're right. It's structure of economy. Yeah, it's like basically this answer is not like one answer. Yeah, it's complex structure. But think about like Russian reality. If you read, okay, maybe you read the job vacancies now. Do really administrative or receptionist, I don't know, in the fitness club or in the beauty centers, do they really need higher education? I mean, I know it's rhetorical questions, but what do you think? Do all, yeah?
Не особо.
Yeah, like not really, yeah? What it means that now, like, because of many universities and because of, yeah, comparatively, yeah, easy, I mean, comparatively, of course, easy access to this higher education compared, for instance, to Britain in the United States, because, you know, maybe you read about the problem of how to get to colleges, like people really started to create their portfolio to get to colleges. Like nowadays, it's the same in Russia, but yeah, even with the bad ЕГЭ, you may go to some university. Not to the best one, yeah, but you may enter some university. And because of this, yeah, there was a so-called inflation of higher education. It means that, like now, employers really want to basically higher education for each types of jobs, and it is really strange thing to think about this Hermitage Museum. You know, you see this old lady who sit and say, "Do not touch that. Do not go that. Do not like." I don't know, like museum watchers, how to call them. You understand, yeah, what I mean?
Извините, можно ответить по-русски?
Yeah, of course.
Хорошо. Помимо структуры экономики, еще историческое развитие образования. Если на Западе в первую очередь, ну, Запад, условно, европейские страны, развитые ныне страны, там образование изначально развивалось как привилегия. И, в принципе, там характер расслоения очень хорошо прослеживается вот в образовании. В России же образование, оно появилось немножко по-другому. И у нас, в принципе, даже структура высших учебных заведений, она иная. У нас есть институты. Что такое институт? Это фактически вуз, узкоспециализированный под какую-то сферу деятельности, под промышленность, условно говоря. И фактически это все образование, которое есть в России, за исключением старых университетов, оно появилось во времена индустриализации в прошлом веке. И оно изначально было под это заточено. Поэтому, если вы обратите внимание, у нас в России значительно больше вот это вот устоявшееся, с позволения, идеологема, что каждый должен получить высшее образование.
Yeah, but what basically maybe you were surprised, but our structure of education is basically copied from the German one. Germany has also so-called Fachhochschule. It's in Russian institute, and they have university like in Russian. And basically our structure of education process, even with the lecture and seminars, is copied from the German one too. It's like German influence, you know. And before the 1917, the education was privileged too, and basically one, you know, threshold to go to this Duma, yeah, government Duma, no, Государственная Дума in Russian Empire. It was so-called educational census. So in this Государственная Дума, of course, it depends on the сословие, and also it depends on this educational census. So only like educated people can be deputies of this Duma. And like then we have Soviet Union with the education for everybody. Yeah, as you said, but the idea of the institute and universities was copied from the German one. And even with this, yeah, as you said, yeah, I said, Dmitry, you're right. Look on the Germany. Yeah, they have like approximately, approximately, yeah, the same return to education compared to the in 2000s Russian. Look, it's approximately what, like 8 for men, as approximately 9 for men and 8 for women. Yeah, look on the Germany and compare with the Russia. It basically, yeah, what Dmitry said. Yeah, structure of economy and structure of education. So it's like to understand. Let's go further. Then, like we discussed why we have different returns to education to Russia, but think about that, because we have this specific structure of education. There are studies that shows you in Russia, in modern Russia, do not like signal, yeah, for employers. Now we're going to discuss it. It's not the like diploma about higher education, but the university from what you get your diploma. So like what is the problem? We have like how education system, and then we have disintegration of this how education system with the best universities that give you opportunities to find a job, yeah, and the most prestigious university. And maybe and you see this inequalities, yeah, in the higher education diplomas. Maybe you have seen it from the job vacancies. Have you seen that sometimes employers say, I only want people from that and that university? Have you seen this? Okay, maybe, okay. Probably you are not thinking about labor market yet. Yeah, but sometimes, usually for St. Petersburg, they called about like High School of Economics, SPBGU, of course. They usually, as I said, Politech, yeah, sometimes, and like FINEC, but not FINEC, not so much. Usually it's like St. Petersburg State University, High School of Economics, like two leading university, and sometimes employers just posted, I want basically people with a diploma only from that university. And this is a signal of this specific, yeah, educational system. But what is interesting, basically? In Germany, it's not really the case, yeah? In Germany, because, again, like in Russia, this institute and university give you the same diploma about higher education. But in Germany, like, this is like original, original structure of this education. This Fachhochschule gives you different diploma compared to the universities. And it's interesting that even, I mean, in Russia, it's approximately the same, but if you want to go to university after the school, you need to choose some track in school. So one track is kind of academic, so you go to gymnasium, so-called. So if you want to enter university, on the level of school in Germany, people should decide what track they want to get. Go to Fachhochschule or go to university. In Russia, it's not the same, In order to go institute or universitet, you need to pass ЕГЭ, that's all, And then it depends on the basically grade for this exam. So, like, copy basically the education system, but not like in real ways. I mean, with specific Russian realities. Okay, so if we speak about, this signal, so your diploma can be kind of signal for your employers in the labor market. Why it can be so? Think about this. Of course, you know that we have a symmetry of information. It means that the transaction cost of getting information about productivity of workers is really high. So employers basically do not have any tools to understand whether this worker is productive or not.
Excuse me. So basically, they understand the employers have some mechanisms to get the full information about employees, but it costs too much. So it is not relevant to check every employee by different tests and different, practice periods. So as you have mentioned, it's the case of asymmetric information, and in that case, higher education is a signal that a person has, let's call them, good abilities.
Yeah, you're right. It means that like person more productive. And look what Dmitry wrote. Basically, Dmitry is right. Yeah, there are studies that shows that this new system of bachelor and master studies for some employers is not really recognizable. Yes, but not for Dmitry, not for all, but you're right. But some of the people. So it's like the problem of transition countries. And Nikolai, you're right. So the diploma, it's kind of signal for productivity of workers. And like if we come back to our discussion about different quality of university, and we discuss about different attitudes of employers to different university. For instance, diploma from Higher School of Economics say that in average, people from Higher School of Economics are good. So I can believe that in average, people with this diploma is better, for instance, compared to people with other diplomas. And because of this, I prefer, because I do not have opportunities, to know the real productivity of workers, I prefer to hire people with this diploma because I believe, because it's signal for me, kind of signal, because I believe that they have like higher abilities, higher intelligence, and etc. etc. Now you tell. If we speak about this situation, and we're going to speak like in the next lecture, after this, about the discrimination, basically. If we speak about situation, who may suffer in this situation? For instance, not the right question. Think about this situation. Like, employers, for instance, decided about level of wages depends on the average productivity of workers, because like higher school university diploma is kind of signal. And employer may think, okay, I know that the people from high school of economics are more productive. I decided to propose them a job, job places. But then the next step is decision about the wage. And if we say that, unfortunately, employers do not have any tools to understand the real production level, it means what? We are going to discuss in details later, but think about this situation. It means that all people from high school of economics, I mean, the things equal, will be proposed the same wage because employers think that these people have like average productivity on this specific level because of, again, asymmetric information. In this case, who would suffer from high school of economics if we speak about only this example? Because people are not equal in terms of abilities and intelligence, even in the framework of one university. Yeah, the most productive ones, basically. Yeah, so like this is just example. Yeah, like 5 minutes. Again, symmetric information. This is example of different productivities. And this is how we can basically estimate the average salary considering different productivities, like the decision how to get average salary if I don't know the productivity of specific workers, but I know that there can be two types of workers, low productive, high productives. This is like salary for these two types of workers, like for instance with high education, and this is how like average salary can be set by employers. As a theoretical. And so, as we discussed, basically, signal just helps distinguish the workers. It's like somehow can distinguish, but then even inside of this group of workers, even in this case, can be different productivity among them. And this is just how to, for instance, distinguish workers if we believe that low productivity workers, for instance, go to not in high school of economics, and high productivity workers go to high school of economics. But again, in the high school of economics, we also have maybe less productive and more productive people, and we may have the same situation. Okay, basically, we are done with human capital. I think we are done for today. And then for the next classes, we start with wage inequality, and then the next basically test will be really, really short. And based on this 10 basically slides about this ability bias, difference in abilities, and about this schooling and signal and this average salary, etc.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Could you please briefly, in addition, can you briefly repeat the situation on the 22nd or 23rd slide, where it was the first graph? I missed it a little bit.
You mean that one?
Yeah. So what can we see from it? That different individuals have different abilities, and that is why?
Look, different individuals may have different abilities. Then they may have basically different decision about to go or not to go to schools. And then in the end, because of different abilities plus different education decision, then they have different wage in the labor market. Look, so we suppose that we have two people that have same discount rate. But they have different wage schooling locus. Basically, that somehow deals with their ability level. And because of these different wage schooling locals, yeah, these people may have different years of education and may have different basically wage level in the end.
Okay, and for the black line, what does it represent? Z.
Basically, look, black line present what happened. Yeah, if we do not say that there is, look, if we say that, for instance, this ace, yeah, decided finish the school and we do not consider any abilities, then it will be what? It will be these wages, like in the previous example when we do not have these abilities. But we say that this person A's have some abilities, and they, instead of just dropping the school, it has just here, it's basically decided if decided to go to school for 1 year, like 12 years of schooling, then it will be this wage level. Not really understandable.
I understand. Okay, and as for Bob?
Yeah, for Bob, it's more people with high abilities, and because of this, look, the same years of schooling, yes, you see 12, but because of high abilities, in the end, Bob with the same years of schooling get higher wages, you see?
Yes, okay, I got the idea. And why does the abilities of Ace move him from 11 to 12 years of studying?
Look, it means, for instance, if Ace decided to go to university, they need to spend more effort to get this additional year of education. And even if like Ace spent more efforts to get this because of their abilities, Ace, like if this is hypothetical pictures, if Ace decided to go to university, for instance, or like to school, to get additional year of school. In this case, even this case with the same level of education, Ace, get the same way, get lower wages compared to the Bob. And the picture is what? Like for Ace, it can decide to go to school and get some additional year. But for Ace, the present value of schooling will be what? Like the opportunity cost of schooling will be higher compared to Bob because of lower abilities. Like for Ace, getting education will be more expensive, basically.
So the point which is corresponding to 12, it's a theoretical point. So Ace is not doing that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like what happened, if these two people with different abilities will have the same years of schooling.
Okay, thank you. Now I see. And the last slide, please. One more time.
Let's just a moment. Here.
Yep. You just briefly
the
say
last
something.
slide. Look, it's just like how signal helps distinguish the workers. It's again, look, for low productivity and high productivity workers, you see, it has different cost of education, like Bob and Ace in our first example. And because of that, we may say that different type of productive workers may choose different level of education because of their productivity. And if we believe in this idea, then the higher level of education basically means can tell us something about the productivity of workers. It's basically the same idea compare like with abilities brought from the side of employers.
Okay, but I see that there are two wages. So 200 and 300, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and how do they
Look, the main idea is what? You know that if you, for instance, finish the university or college, you get 300.
Yes.
Yeah. If you have less year of education, you get 200. But then, in order to go, not to go to university, you need to compare it with what? With the cost for education. And previously we talked about only the cost, like opportunity cost of wages, opportunity cost of tuition fee, books, and etc. Yeah. But now we say, but with people with low abilities or low productivity, should spend more time and more efforts to get higher education, for instance. And for them, it will be more expensive to invest in education.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
compare to that, and compare because we have, for instance, not so huge difference between these two wages. Yeah, low productive workers may decided do not spend so much effort, time, and money to get education, because if we compare the wage gap, it's not so high. And the idea is what? When we speak about decision to go, not to go university, we need to think about different abilities, because different abilities kind of like opportunity cost to get an education. And if it's true, then it can be a signal for employers.
that is the reason why it is a signal to employers, basically.
Yeah.
And does that mean that if on the first slide the interaction of costs and y, I don't know, equilibrium, y optimal, it is higher than the wage of two?
You mean this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the last slide.
This one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
here, okay.
yes. So the first graph, the interaction between costs and optimal years of schooling.
Yeah.
It is higher than the first wage. So it's just irrational for the low productivity worker to what?
To get lower years of schooling, that's all. Like for low productive workers, it's more rational. Maybe I show the other pictures. Look, for instance, not other picture. Okay, the idea is what? For low productive workers, is more rational to get lower level of schooling, because for them it's more expensive in terms of costs.
Yeah, I understand that, but it doesn't somehow correspond to the wages. So is that point higher than the wage or not? So it's just for comparison with the right graph, right? So
Yeah,
the
it
cost is
just
higher.
here's a comparison that we have different slopes.
Yeah.
Different costs. It's just for comparison what happened. Like in different pictures for different people with different costs. It's just an illustration how this cost can influence on the like optimal point about the years of education, because like this has different slopes. Yeah, the simple ideas. Maybe it's not. Is it more understandable now?
It's more understandable. So the intersection point could be lower than 200, and it won't change the idea, right?
Yeah. But the idea is what? That like look, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same years of schooling here.
Yes.
The idea is what? That for low productive workers, it's more expensive to get number of students compared with the high productive
Yes,
workers.
so that's all.
Yeah,
So
yeah, just to
wages.
illustrate.
Mhm. So wages are not necessary here. Okay, I see.
Yeah, just like yeah, what happened? Yeah, dollars is my mean wages that like both type of workers know their wages for like university and no university. Yeah, they know that, and then they have different slopes for cost line.
Okay,
And
okay.
then this illustration what happened for this type of workers and this type of workers.
Okay, so one more time about
Yeah.
the intersection. If the intersection point were lower than the level of 200, the low productive worker will still have more costly optimal just wise чертой education, and that's all, right? Okay.
Okay, the idea is what? Look, 2000, like for them, it's not so rational to get additional year of education because it's too expensive. And then it means it's like stick with this level. Yeah, because you see the slope. Yeah, basically you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, basically right.
Okay, because those level really confuse me. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, then yeah, okay, then.
Извините, можно организационный вопрос? Я вот как раз перевелся только-только. Вы писали в письме, что